Hey everyone, so today's tutorial is going to be dedicated to MagicVis again. So why again? Because I think I have to show you a few more things that will help all of you guys, not just in your pre-programming but also in your life work. Okay, so first of all I will start with a manual. Again, in the video, in now my new videos, I'll try to add keywords that will help you to actually search in any of the manuals that is related to the topic. So for the MagicVis, there is actually a separate manual, and it's supplied with the software. If you cannot find it for some reason, there's always a Google. So all you have to do is, when you open a Google, you just type here MagicVis manual, and it's going to show you two options. You can choose that one, and it's going to give you a link to the online version of the manual. You'll click here and it will open it for you, so you will be able to actually search through, and this is how the online version looks like. So it looks like exactly the same as the PDF version that is already on your laptop. So it looks like that. And everything I will be telling you today actually comes from here. So I didn't come up with anything new, everything from here. So if that's going to be useful for you, then watch and learn. Okay, so first of all, I'm running my MagicVis on my Mac, and it struggles a little bit, so you can see my FPS gone down to 18 and 19. So let me show you a few more tools that you can use in the MagicVis, and then I will show you how to get the best out of it. So first of all, if you look in the MagicVis, you have certain tools that are available for you on the main screen. Apart from the main view, you also have a move camera button that normally switched on by default, that allows you to click and with the mouse drag around so you can actually sort of fly in a 3D space. There's another option here that allows you to select fixture. So at the moment, if you select this, you will be able to actually select fixtures on the screen. So I mean, that's been added about probably a year ago, so if you're running the older version, you won't be able to do it. So right now, you can actually select a fixture, you can use the shift button, select another and select another. So now, if you go to the Magic Queue and let's say press locate, you will be able to actually see, I haven't selected this one. I press locate. And now I have 3 of my fixtures switched on. So it's much easier for you to be able to find the fixtures on your visualizer, select them, and then press add full or locate, and you will be able straight away to see them, and they are part of the programmer. So, which is perfect. So in the past, when we used to use repeat fixtures, you could also select elements in them. I'm not sure if it works with the duplicate elements right now, but for time being, just use one of these two options, and that's going to be more than enough for you. So fit to whole room. So if you zoomed out too much or if you zoomed in, you can always press fit to whole room, and it will fit in to the whole room for you. Then you've got different views. So in perspective view, where you can see that your stage, it shows you in 3D. The other views, top, front, side, and free view, are changed to orth, or in another word, orthographic. So orthographic view is the view where it's similar to the parallel view, where you can see the three-dimensional objects in 2D space. So these are the different looks. Again, from any of these looks, from side look, you can still rotate it to the angle that you need. And then when you launch any of your playbacks, you will be able to see all the beams. It is really useful if your graphic card is not powerful enough, like in my case, because I don't have dedicated graphic card. And you can see in orthographic look view, I can have 30 frames per second. Again, if you guys are running beasts graphic cards like a 2080s, etc., you shouldn't be worried about it. But this is one of the things I wanted to show you. So another thing that a lot of people are actually not aware of is the what MagicVis is actually showing you right now. So you have different options. By default, it comes up as output. This is the standard look you get. That means anything you launch using your playbacks, anything you do with the programmer and stuff, everything you will be able to see actually on your MagicVis. So it outputs as per normal. But the other options, some people actually haven't explored. So what is the blind programmer? So if you know what's the blind programmer basically allows you to do certain pre-programming in the blind mode. That means people will not be able to see it, and then nicely fade in into that look, or make the changes and save them in the background when the users don't see it. So how it works? Let's say in a normal output, if I launch static, now I would like to change the lights and pre-program them in a new position, the new color, and I would like to nicely, slowly fade in into the blind view. So right now, as I'm using output, if I press blind view, and then I select my heads, and then, for example, press yellow, you're not going to see anything changing. You change the position, again, you don't see any changes until you press, let's say, 5 seconds and blind. So that way, in 5 seconds, it will change to the certain color and certain position as I've chosen, which is all good and fine, but that's not what we want. We would actually, let's say this is the current look that we have on the stage. We would like to prepare the next look, and we do not want the audience to see what we're doing in the background. For this, you can actually change that into the blind programmer. So your playbacks are still there. But what you can do now is following. If you press blind, and then you choose your group of lights, and now we choose the color, you can see everything here in the new color, but the public does not see it. So the audience will still see the blue, the lights in blue. Then you can change into the different position, out, up. So this is the result you would like to get when the audience don't see it. So now, if you go back to the output is still here. So now we can nicely fade into the new look by pressing 6 seconds, for example, and press blind. So now blind will go to where we had it before. So this is where the blind out programmer is really, really helpful. What are the other options you have available for you? The other option is called Playback. What does Playback do? Playback is actually allowing you to preview what is in the selected playback that you have. For example, if you have that look, and then you would like to see what's actually happening in the what this playback do. So instead of launching it, triggering it, and customers being able to see what's happening, you can actually press and select a playback. So now the users still see what's happening in front of house wash playback, but this is your preview, what is currently in that playback. So I can quickly scroll through my playbacks, and while the audience cannot see all my previews, I can actually see what's happening. So I can actually preview the queue, and I know this is what I want to get, and then I can trigger my playback, and that playback will go live. So you will see it as per normal in the output window. But the playback window, again, allows you, without actually triggering any playback live, it allows you to actually preview what the playback will do. It's a really, really nice tool, especially for the festivals. When you're coming on the desk and someone programmed it for you, but you are not sure what's going to happen, switch it to the playback mode. So while something is happening live, that you trigger it from the playback. If you press and hold, if you select the playback. You don't need to trigger it. It sort of sets it to 100 and it shows you what the playback is doing there. So this is really useful feature. So, and the last one is the last one I actually wanted to show, which is really useful. It's the one that's called next go. When this can be useful. So imagine that, okay, let's look at the output window. So let's say I have the, I'm not sure if I programmed anything here. So I have, this is my first queue in my spot queue stack. When I press go to the second queue, it should change to that look, okay? And then this is third look. So as this is my first look, and I'm not sure what's coming in the next look, you actually can change it to the next go. So when you press next go, sorry, you have to select your playback. So when your playback is selected and you have next go, it actually shows you what will be in the next step for you. So again, you don't need to guess it, you can actually preview it. So again, I think it's quite powerful tool that allows you to do a lot of stuff while audience see one picture. You can actually preview it and see what's happening in the next queue. And again, let's go to the next step. So the audience will see that, and you will see what's happening next here. Right? I think it's really cool. So, and the last thing I wanted to show you, sorry, let me just kill it, go to the output. So the next thing I wanted to show you is the programmer only. So when you select programmer only, then the queue, even if you have something launched as in your playback, you can actually select your heads, and as soon as you press go into the locate or anything, you should be able to see only what's in your programmer. So it kills any of the other playbacks running, and it will only show what's happening in your programmer currently. I think it's also really cool because you can actually program something in the background, save those playbacks, and when the time comes, you can launch them live. So the other things you can do here is following. So if you select MagicVis, and you will select, unfortunately I actually not showing, but there are buttons on the top of, that's a Magic Queue, File, 3D View, Source, and Window. So if you select the Window button, you have the 3D view, which is your normal view. You also have plot view. So the plot view allows you to actually see your plot of your heads from the 2D space, and you can actually select your heads here as well. So if you also would like to move stuff around, you can actually switch on the design mode. In the design mode, you can actually select your head and move it around. This is going to be a really useful tool if you want to move stuff around quickly and you don't want to actually go into the Magic Queue view this, as I showed in a previous tutorial, where you could move stuff around. Also, it's going to be really extremely useful for quick queue users, because when you patch on a quick queue, you cannot move stuff around using the quick queue and a quick queue editor. But what you can do is, if you have the MagicVis running, you can actually switch on the design mode and move your stuff around the stage. Yes, it's a given you cannot add the truss or other 3D objects. For this, you need to actually run in the Magic Queue, and that is available for you, and you can look at my previous tutorial. But in this mode, you can always switch to the design mode and move stuff around from the side look, from the front, etc. It's really good. The other option we've got here in the MagicVis will be a live and preview mode. So what the live preview mode allows you to do is, as you can guess, following. If you switch on the blind programmer, you can actually see what's happening in your live view. Now, let's select blind, select our spots again, and apply yellow. Sorry, apply yellow color. And you can see in the blind, we can already preview it. We can change the position, and now we're sure we would like to move from this look to that look. For this, now you press, let's say, 5 seconds and press blind. And that will go there. Again, I won't show you step by step and how we get to this point, and now you can see the benefits. And you can change this one to be your blind or maybe to be your next go. So that means you can actually preview. So if I kill this playback, I run that one. So this is my first look and this is my next look. I can press go. So now this is my second look and this is my third look. So I can preview all my steps ahead using the MagicVis. So another thing is 3D and plot view. 3D and plot view allows you to actually see the changes that you're bringing live. So if I go to the design mode, I select my head. Sorry, if I select my if I select my head and I move it, you can see I'm changing the position live. Okay, so again, I think the quick queue users would also love to know this is possible here. Okay, and another thing that I will show you is the split. So you can actually do a vertical split, or you can keep it as horizontal. So if someone prefers vertical split, you can use it that way. But the other thing I actually wanted to show you, and it's going to be probably the last thing I will show you here, is, well, a couple of last things. I always remember there's something else I wanted to show you. So the output mode that you actually get here can actually also be switched. So if you don't see it, like I normally run in a small window look, so as you can see here, I don't see the modes, and you have to actually stretch it. But instead of doing that, you can actually go to the patch, view Vis, and the Vis source you can change to, let's say, next go. So next go will change that here as well. Okay, so as far as I know, whilst I'm still not using much of the external visualizers, we support the same blind modes and the programming only modes for Capture and WYSIWYG 2. For this to work, they need to be in direct connection with us when you actually select in the setup View DMX input output. And here, as far as I know, you have to change the visualizer source to be not MagicVis, but a capture either remote or capture on the same PC. If you're connecting them using just a normal standard ArtNet connection or streaming ACN connection without changing these modes, I believe you will not be able to see blind and programming only modes. And programming only and blind modes only affect those aforementioned visualizers because they have a separate streaming connection to them. And also the capture needs to be connected to MagicQ via CITP as well. So I believe if you change it here and you patch it using patch Vis patch for the capture, it should be able to connect via Vis patch, and then you will be able to do the blind and programming only modes. So the other thing I wanted to show you, again, it's been described in the manual, the option here in the setup and view settings in the mode. So here you have a visualizer option that normally is reset when you start a new show file and it's saved with your show file that you already created. It's the option here for the visualizer. So if you double click here, by default, it may be saying disabled, meaning every time you patch fixtures. You remember the console is asking you, would you like to insert fixtures into visualizer? And you say yes. So you don't need to do it if before you start patching, you switch on the option says auto insert into the visualizer. Or you can actually go one step ahead and choose auto insert, auto preview. And you may ask the question, what's the difference between them? And here is the difference. So in the when you say auto previs, the way it works also is following. Let's say I have my static look. But what I can do is, if I press and hold the S button on the screen, or if you're using MQ50, new MQ50, new MQ70, you press on the screen where the playback represented, it will temporarily load in as a playback view. Okay, so you will be able to preview what's happening in my playback number 7, while audience will not see it, and as soon as you let it go, it goes back to the look that the audience can see. Okay, this is a really useful tool. So press and hold, and it will preload it to you into the visualizer. You can preview it, and then you let it go. Another thing that you can do here in the options, in the visualizer options here, so when you select the auto insert and auto previs, if you select blind mode, it automatically splits the screen for you into the live output and the second view. So it's a split screen. So this view you can actually change to the blind programmer. So now if you run some spot static, you will be able to actually select this, change it to the different color in the previous in the blind programmer, change it to the different look, and then you will be able to press 6 seconds and blind out. So when you click it, it will go back to that look. So right now it does it for the first time. I already requested this to blind mode to work all the time you press it, but this is a good option here. But I normally, when I program on the festival rig, I would swap this one to automatically be my live and preview. So I will be able to actually see how it looks straight away when I am running it live and I wanted to preview it. Okay, that's all for today. I hope it was useful. Thank you and have a lovely day. Bye bye.